All right, good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order and ask the secretary to call the roll.
Mr. Coburn? Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley here.
Mr. Shannon?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller?
Freimiller here.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander here.
Mr. LaForge? Mr. Junk?
Junk here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here. Thank you. Secretary Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if I might, I'd like to recognize a couple of folks. First, Sean Davis to make an announcement and an introduction.
And I forgot to introduce Bobby Stem. So the celebrity Bobby Stem, thank you for being here.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, if we would, I'd like to have Mr. Trapper Parks come to the podium. It is with great pleasure that I announce the selection of Mr. Trapper Parks to the position of District 8 Engineer in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Trapper was chosen from amongst a group of exceptionally qualified applicants to succeed longtime District Engineer Randall White, who retired at the end of November. Trapper began his career with the department in 2004 as a co-op student on the OSU Design Squad, hiring on full-time in 2006 upon his graduation. In 2007, Trapper joined the Roadway Design Division and by 2010 had progressed into the position of project engineer. In 2011, Trapper made his way into the field as an area maintenance engineer for District 8, and 5 years later was named the district's maintenance engineer, where he has overseen maintenance for one of ODOT's most populous, diverse, and challenging districts. Trapper earned his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Oklahoma State University in 2006 and was licensed as a professional engineer in 2010. Trapper and his wife Molly have 2 children and currently reside in Broken Arrow. Please help me congratulate and welcome Trapper into his new position. And Mr. Chairman, if I could, just for a minute, you know, interviewing for both Trapper's position and John Logan's position out at District 6, I think it was a great experience. I think Chief would agree with me on the interview process. A lot of good candidates, a lot of great people out there. You know, you sometimes wonder what the next generation's going to bring. ODOT's going to be in good hands for a long time. So,
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'd like to recognize Rick Johnson for an announcement, introduction.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, I am pleased to announce today the selection of Mr. Ken Phillips as the Department's next Chief of Right-of-Way and Utilities Division. Mr. Phillips is a 27-year veteran of the Department. He's served in various capacities across the Department in our roadway design, traffic, and our facilities management group. And most recently, he's been leading up our utilities and surplus properties groups. So please help me welcome Ken to his new role.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, want to recognize Rick one more time and let him tell us a little bit about some additional hardware that the department has picked up. So, Rick.
Thank you. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation's Monarch program received the 2023 State Government Programs Environmental Excellence Award. It was presented at the annual Keep Oklahoma Beautiful Environmental Excellence Awards celebration in November of 2023. The Monarch program, established in 2016, aims to promote native and pollinator habitat along Oklahoma's roadways. This recognition underscores ODOT's dedication to environmental stewardship and the positive outcomes of collective efforts in preserving and enhancing Oklahoma's natural beauty. Keep Oklahoma Beautiful is a statewide nonprofit organization and a state affiliate of Keep America Beautiful. Its mission is to empower Oklahoma citizens to preserve and enhance the state's natural beauty and ensure a healthy, sustainable environment. I'd like to recognize and call up to the front David Salisbury, Amber McIntyre, Caitlin Taylor, and Vonsell Harmon, and ask the commissioners to stand for a picture.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could, one more announcement and recognition. I'd like to ask Mr. Brent Burwell with the Concrete Paving Association to come forward and talk a little bit about another award that the department's picked up.
Thank you, Secretary Gatz. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, it's a great day. You just got to get handed out one award, and we're getting recognized for another national award, and I think that speaks well of Oklahoma. This is for the American Concrete Paving Association. They annually get together and judge a number of projects across several categories and pick out the two best. They give a gold and a silver award. And the project we're going to recognize today won the gold award in their category. So these projects were based on quality of construction, rideability, sustainability, a bunch of things like that. And they are the best of the best. They had to win their state award to be eligible to be for this national award. So the project we're talking about today is a section of I-40 over in District 1 in Sequoia County near Vian. And so could we have the personnel come up here, Division 1, do it, and all the rest, and we'll hand out the award.
Thank you. Commissioners, item 1 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on December 4th, 2023. Do I have a motion for approval of item 1?
Motion, Dyson.
And do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion carries. Thank you very much. The consent docket contains items 2 through 5. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
So moved, Grimsley.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Freimiller, second.
Please cast your vote. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 6 is engineering contracts. Mr. Tegler, you're recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Secretary. Item 6 are the engineering contracts that I have this month, and I have 6 parts. 4 of those are statewide, and 2 are project-specific, and those 2 are in the current 8-year construction work plan. Part A is our all-district statewide on-demand mobile LiDAR mapping. The department has selected 2 firms to provide mobile LiDAR mapping services, and they are with Bearing Tree Land Surveying and CEC Corporation. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 2 contracts is $500,000. Part B is our all districts statewide on-demand project reconnaissance data collection. The department has selected 10 firms to provide these services, and they are with BKL, CEC Corporation, CP&Y, Garver, Half Associates, Olson, Poe & Associates, Professional Engineering Consultants, Team Design, and Walter P. Moore & Associates. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 10 contracts is $2,500,000. Part C, all districts statewide on-demand grant writing and coordination. The department has selected 6 firms to provide these services, and they are with CP&Y, Garver, High Street Consulting Group, HNTB Corporation, Jacobs Engineering Group, and Kimley Horn and Associates. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 6 contracts is $1,500,000. Part D, all districts, statewide construction staking manual preparation. The department has selected half associates to provide these services. The total not to exceed amount for this contract is $500,000. Part E in District 3 in Garvin County. The department has selected Olson to prepare construction plans for I-35. The proposed project improvements are reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. Total not to exceed amount is $1,401,956. Part F in District 8 in Tulsa County. The department has selected Hudson Prince Engineering and Inspection to prepare construction plans for US 75. The proposed project improvements are reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. Total not to exceed amount is $1,921,125. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any this morning.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 6?
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Alexander, and a second from Commissioner Shannon. Thank you. Any discussion? Nope. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 7 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Taylor, you're recognized to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 3 parts on the supplements this month. One of them is a statewide contract. The other 2 are project-specific, and those 2 project-specific are in the current 8-year construction work plan. Part A, all districts statewide on-system bridge standards. The department previously selected CP&Y to prepare on-system bridge standards for reinforced concrete box culverts. The total not to exceed amount for this supplement is $100,000. Part B in District 1, Sequoia County. Department previously authorized Triad Design Group to prepare preliminary engineering and construction plans for State Highway 10A. The proposed project improvements are adding shoulders to a 2-lane road and geometric improvements. Total not to exceed amount is $42,900. And finally, Part C in District 7 in Stevens County. The department previously authorized Smith Roberts Balderschweiler to perform preliminary engineering and construction plans for State Highway 29. The proposed project improvements are adding shoulders to a 2-lane road, geometric improvements, and replacing bridge on an offset alignment and relocate facility to a new alignment. Total not to exceed amount for this supplement is $380,500. Approval is recommended, and I'll answer any questions if you have any this morning.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 7?
So moved.
Commissioner Shannon, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. And the motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Ticklen. Item 8 is change orders with a cumulative total of $75,000 or less. This is for information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item number 8, parts A through V. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only, and no action is necessary, but I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to continue to present item 9.
Thank you,
Change
Mr.
orders
Chairman.
with a cumulative total of greater than $75,000.
Yes. Item 9, parts A through double L. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 9?
So moved, Grimsley.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Or second.
Any discussion?
I do have one comment.
Please.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing the cumulative totals, and the reason I'd requested that is just curious if we see trends, and we're not seeing any trends at all. So this is just kind of random in the noise, so it's comforting to me to know that there's no underlying problem or anything with it.
Good,
So, but
good.
appreciate the work on that.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Very good. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 10 is the Industrial Access Program. Ms. Wheeler, you are recognized to present.
morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Item 10 is 2 additions to the Industrial Access Road Program. The first, in District 5, Beckham County, the City of Elk City is requesting approval for an industrial access project for Through Tubing Solutions. Through Tubing Solutions is a nationwide oil and gas company specializing in downhole operations. TTS is investing approximately $25 million in the new facility and equipment, which will establish 75 full-time jobs. It is estimated that as many as 200 trucks and/or trailers will enter or exit the facility daily. The proposed project will add a deceleration lane as well as an acceleration lane to improve traffic flow for CMVs entering and exiting the facility. These additions will improve overall traffic safety. The project begins approximately 1,800 feet southwest of Sandy Lane on B.J. Hughes Access Road and extends southwesterly for approximately 1,150 feet. The City of Elk City will be responsible for the initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The estimated cost of the project is $1,090,924. Department's participation shall not exceed $835,000. Second one, District 2 in Pittsburgh County. The City of McAllister is requesting approval for an industrial access project for the Lauren Cook Company. Lauren Cook is a nationwide quality air moving company specializing in air circulators, exhausters, and blowers. Lauren Cook is investing approximately $10 million in the facility and creating approximately 40 jobs. The proposed project begins at the intersection of East College Avenue and North George Nye Expressway and extends northeast for approximately 710 feet. The City of McAllister will be responsible for the initiation, construction, and completion of all work associated with the project. The estimated cost of the project is $510,000. Department's participation for surfacing material only shall not exceed $300,000. Approval is recommended. I'll be happy to answer questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 10?
So moved, Grimsley.
Thank you. A second? Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Wheeler. Item 11 is extension of the suspended rule. Mr. Davis, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. At the July 2023 Transportation Commission meeting, Agenda Item 109 initially suspended Pre-Qualification Rule 730-25-3-1 subsection O for a period of 6 months with the intention that the rule be reinstated at that time. The reason for the suspension was the perceived hardship in obtaining audited financial statements from prospective bidders on highway construction work in a timely manner, jeopardizing their pre-qualification status and severely limiting the number of contractors bidding on ODOT projects. We are requesting a 2-month extension of the suspended rule because, after analysis and review, staff has proposed changes to the pre-qualification rule to provide a more business-friendly approach while still maintaining the integrity of the pre-qualification and requalification process. Reinstating the existing rule right now would result in a few contractors becoming immediately ineligible to bid on ODOT work, although their ability to perform this work is not in question at this time. The proposed rule changes, which will be before you in just a little bit with Ms. Penn presenting them to you, and if approved by the Commission, would only become effective once approved by the legislature and the governor and published in the Oklahoma Register in September. Extending the suspension of the rule until March will allow the few contractors to have 2 additional months of work, and ultimately, they will still be required to submit financials. The proposed rule, if approved, would then go into effect in the subsequent year's filings. Staff recommends that the Commission extend the suspension of the rule for a period of 2 additional months. And I will answer any questions if you have them.
We talked about this extensively in our subcommittee meeting with Chief Davis and Ms. Penn, and I see no problem at all extending it 2 months. Do I have a motion for approval?
Yeah, I would like to say that we're not eliminating it. It's just there's just this
Postponing it for 2 months.
Exactly.
And
So
then
we're
we'll
not eliminating it.
re-examine another rule that Ms. Penn is going to talk to us about, so. This just takes the heat off a couple of contractors for 60 days.
So moved, Grimsley.
Thank you. A second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 12 is the proposed administrative agency rules. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. So I should have a clicker. Thank you. So the most painful thing about working for an agency is administrative rules. And I'm just going to say that up front. If you'll remember last year, we had 8 different rules. And this year, we only have 3. So I'm going to try to make it as simple and as quick as possible. But of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. So the first set of rules that we are amending is titled 730, Chapter 25, Section 3-1, and it's the pre-qualification rules. And we have a whole bunch of purposes for amending the rules, but I'm just going to pull up the amended sections and tell you which applies. Okay? So if you look at subsection D, you'll see highlighted in yellow, if a prospective bidder cannot provide a current audited financial statement with their pre-qualification application, then the prospective bidder may provide their most recent audited financial statement. And that allows for prospective bidders who are unable to provide the department with current audited financial statements at the time of application to submit it at a later time. And this does not apply to renewals. And when you get to section N, it just clarifies an error, so that's just a Scrivener's issue. And one thing I would like to point out about the pre-qualification rules that is a little bit confusing is you have conditionally pre-qualified and you have fully pre-qualified. And technically, pre-qualified would imply that there are lots of discussions. That's another conversation. But anyway, that is a technicality that seems to be confusing to a lot of people, and we'll fix that at a different date. Right? Let's
When
not
do you
go there.
become fully qualified?
Right? It just seems like you should be pre-qualified and qualified.
Right.
So that's for a different conversation for a different day, but I'm just bringing that to your attention, not to derail the conversation. All right, and then we have this amendment. If you'll see, the department shall limit the potential bidder's bidding capacity to an amount not to exceed the company's working capital as determined by the contractor's most recent audited financial statement or financial review until such time as the contractor can provide the department with a current audited financial statement or financial review. And that is, why is that doing that? Establishes provisions for conditionally pre-qualified contractors and allows conditionally pre-qualified contractors who are unable to provide the department with the current audited financial statement at the time of applying for the renewal to continue bidding at a reduced bidding capacity for a specified period of time. And so, again, that gives the department flexibility, but does not eliminate our checks and balances. And then you have R, which is a new rule, and it essentially eliminates the requirement for audited financial statements from fully pre-qualified contractors for the purpose of renewing their pre-qualification, and requires fully pre-qualified contractors to provide the department with audited financial statements upon request. So again, providing some flexibility as well as a check and balance for the agency.
So the 180-day rule, is that gone?
Yes, to some degree.
Wait a minute.
Yes, there is, I'm gonna look at Anthony, and yes. For fully pre-qualified contractors, that's the confusion. So there's the fully pre-qualified versus the conditionally pre-qualified.
And if I may, can I
Yes,
explain the
please.
fully and conditional? I think that will help the conversation. So in our pre-qualification, we have 2 levels of pre-qualification. So when a contractor initially applies for pre-qualification and we approve it, we consider them conditionally pre-qualified, which means they have a bidding limit. And that's based on the audited financial that they submit, and it's 2.5 times their working capital. The milestone they're trying to achieve is one of 2 things. They can complete 3 projects and $5 million worth of work, or they can complete 1 project that's worth $10 million. And at that time, they become fully pre-qualified, which means they can bid up to their bonding capacity. And so the bidding limit goes away, and whatever you can get bonded for is the capacity that you're therefore working with. So what we're saying now with this new rule, if you're fully pre-qualified, we're relying on that bonding capacity and not necessarily a bidding limit anymore. And so that we don't need that audit. We're gonna rely on the bonding companies to monitor their financial strength.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm not.
All right, so, not sure where we are. Oops, back up. Okay, and then the final edit is on S. It's a new rule. And you'll have it in front of you, I'm not reading that. And it requires fully pre-qualified contractors to provide the department with audited financial statements on request, and then just essentially what Anthony said. Okay. And then if you go to, okay, so 730:25-5-7 is essentially the reinstatement of the fee schedule that we repealed last year inadvertently. We had Senate Bill 1229 of Legislative Session 1222 essentially eliminated the Highway Construction Materials Technician Board and gave that authority to ODOT to run the program. And it allowed us to collect fees and put them into the revolving fund. However, we eliminated the rule with the fee schedule. So we're just reinstating the same fee schedule that we had before. We are not increasing the prices at all, but this will allow us to fund the program. And when you look at the fee schedule, it's exactly the same as it was before in the repealed rules. And then finally, we have 730:35-7-3, traffic control responsibilities. And it amends the language to include local government, which expands the jurisdictional areas in which the department can enter into agreements, and ensures the safety of the traveling public by making needed traffic signal repairs and payment marker repairs as needed without having to wait for a local government to have the funds to make the needed repairs for the maintenance and installation of traffic control signals, and allows us to assist in funding. So it's a little bit of cleanup and helps us with providing more support to the local communities. So as you are not required to vote today if you have questions or concerns about any of the rules, but you can make a motion to pass the rules and recommend them to go to the legislature. And you can either do it by Part A, B, or C, or you can do it in its entirety.
Okay,
And if you have any questions.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Discussion among the commissioners?
Yeah, we were given this well in advance, so we've had ample time to review it.
Yes.
So I'm fine with, I don't know what the rest of the commission, but I'm fine with.
I'm fine proceeding.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Yes, I will. Do I hear a motion for approval of item 12?
So move Grimsley.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Alexander.
All right, and we think we've had our discussion, so commissioners, please vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Penn.
Good job.
Item 13 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item 13, proposed bid openings consist of the final February 2024, tentative March 2024, and tentative April 2024 bid openings. Approval is recommended.
And any discussion? You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 13?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second? Coburn, thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 14 is executive session. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present.
Hello again. So, item 14 is executive session, a proposed executive session to conduct a periodic review and or consideration and adoption, modification, recommended action related to the employment, including evaluation and terms of condition of Tim J. Gatz, Executive Director of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. So basically, a consideration of his performance and a review of his rate of pay. So,
Thank you. So I need a motion to enter executive session.
yes, sir.
I'm gonna make a motion.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Please cast your vote.
So we will adjourn to the third floor
Motion passes.
and then
Thank
come
you.
back.
All right, do I have a motion to return from executive session?
So moved, Grimsley.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Let's see. Sarah, remind me here. This is the discussion?
This is the discussion and the opportunity to have a motion based on your discussions.
Okay, all right, so,
Part about this commission is we all recognize the commitment that Tim's made in his entire career to ODOT, and we want to certainly reward that and continue to enjoy his leadership. One of the biggest challenges we have in government is when you establish good leadership is maintaining them. And so one of our biggest fears is not being able to continue continuity in leadership. And, you know, we enjoyed, obviously, Secretary Ridley and Secretary Patterson and the success that they had in the last 2 decades has continued with Secretary Gatz, and we're so thrilled to have you here. You've done such a tremendous job, and a true public servant, not only for ODOT, but through the whole state. And I specifically recall during COVID, when I was serving with the governor, when we were rewarded, I think, $1.2 billion in relief dollars, and the biggest concern was how do you appropriately distribute those funds? And without a doubt, we knew that Secretary Gatz at the time was the one to lead that committee, to work with the legislator to ensure those dollars were invested. And I bring that up because it's not just the Turnpike Authority and ODOT that you've led, but really the state as a whole. And you really encompass the true notion of a public servant. This is not something that Tim has advocated on behalf of, but I think everyone on this commission recognizes that you need an increase in your salary. We don't want to risk losing you, as we have other employees of the state. And so I think there's a united front here and a commitment to reward that. And so, Mr. Chairman, with that, I don't know if there's additional discussion to be had.
well, I'm entering my 6th year as a commissioner. Commissioner Alexander was on before me, but we've seen the countless awards that the state has earned. And as a reminder, Secretary Gatz is doing 2 jobs now. The director of the Turnpike Authority used to be a job, and the director of the ODOT used to be a separate one. He's doing the work of both. And so I think that, I agree with what Commissioner Junk said. We need an increase in his salary that affects not only Secretary Gatz, but also the people that work underneath him here. So, any other comments? I have a motion. If you'll pardon me for reading this. After consideration of the duties of the executive director as outlined in Oklahoma statute and the Department of Transportation rules, the scope of budgets, scope of programs required to be implemented by the department, its budget, and comparable salaries of other state agency directors and surrounding state DOT directors, as well as the exemplary job performance of Tim Gatz, I move this commission recommend to the governor that the annual salary of the executive director, Tim Gatz, be adjusted to $245,000. I need a motion for that.
So moved, Dyson.
And a second.
Second, Alexander.
I guess that was kind of a motion I made anyway. All right, any discussion?
I would just like to say, I feel like as a state, and as a Western Oklahoma person, we're so proud to have you here. I mean, if people go drive around the roads of Western Oklahoma and see what have happened in the last 4, 6, really 10 years out there, as far as our roadways go and the job that Tim, and it's Tim, but it's also the way he handles his people. Everybody respects, loves him to death, and you work harder sometimes for guys like that. I know you do. I've got a lot of employees too, and you know, he just has the total command and respect of all of his employees, and I just appreciate so much the chance to get up here to work with him also, and if there's anything that I can ever do to help, don't ever hesitate to call me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Alexander. It is time to vote. Please cast your vote. The motion carries to make the recommendation to the governor. Thank you. Item 15 is the Director's Report. Secretary Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I very much appreciate the kind words and the consideration. You know, this is, you know, you hear folks talk about dream jobs, and this truly is a dream job for me. I would not want to be anywhere else working with any other people, the Transportation Commission included. And again, I think the state of Oklahoma, not just with the agency, but with the help of our private sector partners. And I take a lot of pride in the relationships that we have with the folks that support us and really help us get things done. I think we do it better than any other state. I honestly do. And I have, you know, if you ask me what my primary goal is, it's going to be to continue that and to build upon it. So I very much appreciate the consideration this morning. When you, and Sean alluded to it, we're talking about, you know, Trapper Park stepping in behind Randall White. You know, that's a wonderful example of successional planning. The thing we have to be mindful of is that successional planning, whether that's Ken Phillips, whether that's John Logan in District 6, Commissioner Alexander, whether that's Trapper in District 8, the conditions that we are working in today are different than the conditions when Trapper hired in. The workforce challenges that we have today are different. We've got to be mindful of that, and we have to be understanding that it's incumbent upon us to build an agency that provides the right opportunities and compensation levels to be able to support a good effort for the future. To that effect, you gentlemen have heard me talk on multiple occasions about our implementation consideration of a market study for the agency. We are moving into and forward with the implementation of a market study. I want to extend my appreciation to Don Sullivan, Brian Taylor, and our human resources folks for the work that they've done around that market study to really understand what our workforce demands are and what the job market's doing. We've had some resources, and we try to do this every 2 years. The last market study that we implemented was beginning in January of 22, based on research and analysis we did in 21. This time, we had not only the human capital management of the Office of Management and Enterprise Services market study to draw from, we also had information compiled and prepared by Ernst & Young, and we certainly had a salary survey performed by AASHTO, American Association for State Transportation and Highway Officials, which is our national organization. So using all of those resources, we've been able to put together a good market measuring stick. And in summary, the minimum increase that we're going to see in our market is 3%. And again, we had a wide range. And I want to emphasize, this is not performance-based. It's not predicated on job performance. This is truly trying to keep up with market. And we certainly want all our folks performing at a very high level, but at the same time, this is just a compensation consideration that is driven by our market force. So 3% on the low end, about 14% on the high end, with a few outliers that are very explainable. The total cost of the market study to the agency is about a $5 million price tag from January through June. That's half of a state fiscal year. So in a full fiscal year, the market increase will result in an additional budgetary commitment of $10 million. In the context of our budget, there's no more important investment than we can make than an investment in our people. The reason that we perform at the level we do is because of them. And the folks that get out there put boots on the ground and get the job done for us every day. This is something I feel very strongly about, especially in the conditions we're in. The qualifier that I'd give you on our market study is when you look at market, there's the minimum in a job class, minimum pay scale, there's the maximum pay scale, and there's the midpoint. Well, in state government, our target is 95% of the midpoint. Not of the maximum, but 95%, so 5% below the midpoint of the market for that job class. Still not exceptional pay, but this is necessary and very important to us. And again, I can't tell you how important I believe it is. We have to continue to keep pace. And again, market conditions out there have become very challenging. So I wanted to give the commission an update that we are able to go into implementation, and more to come as far as details for our workforce as we roll this out across the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks. But it's extremely important, and it's a giant step forward for us. So appreciate the commission's support. On the federal funding front, as you know, we've got a continuing resolution that runs out on January the 19th. That continuing resolution, we believe, is the Congress has been doing some work. At the end of last week, they announced that they believe they have a budget agreement, which is the kind of the plan to start the plan. They have got some legislation that'll have to be passed. That ours in particular is the Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Bill. My understanding is they're going to take that up in earnest here in the coming days. Whether they can get that bill all the way through by January 19th is somewhat in question. So there's a possibility we could have one more continuing resolution. There's a possibility that something unexpected could happen that could delay it. But the Congress is working on it. I have confidence that we'll get to a point where we've got a full appropriation for the fiscal year we're in, and it's encouraging to see a little bit of progress maybe. So wanted to give you that update. Also advise you, even though there's progress being made, the continuing resolution and the funding revenue limitations that are included in that are impacting our operations. So, we'll get back on our feet as quickly as we can once we have access to that higher level of appropriations. Out front, in the circle, you'll see an electric vehicle. That EV was manufactured by Canoe right here in the state of Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City. One of the first 3 that have been delivered to state government, and the department again was very interested in this vehicle and evaluating the utility of it in some of our operations. I'll be quick to tell you that the Department of Transportation, you're not going to see a wholesale conversion of our fleet to electric vehicles or anything like that. because of the nature of our business doesn't necessarily accommodate that. However, there is a place for this vehicle in our operations. And this one in particular will be assigned to our multimodal division under Jared Swineson's leadership. As you know, Jared leads our National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Investment Initiative at the federal level, and we'll use this vehicle as an opportunity to help us advocate for a broader utilization of EVs across the state. And again, Jared will put that to good use. We look forward to continuing to really take a hard look at how these EVs can play a role in the department's operations for the future. So it's out there. If you care to, stop and take a look at it on your way out, and know that we're pretty excited about adding it to the fleet. At this point, I'd like to call your attention to a little bit of a video that we've got that outlines our major milestones for 2023. We always try to do a little bit of year in review, so I think that video is queued up, so if we can roll that.
Throughout 2023, ODOT districts enhanced safety by adding shoulders to rural two-lane highways statewide. These projects are designed to increase safety, reduce crashes, and ensure greater travel time reliability. Some projects of note include State Highway 33, State Highway 39, and State Highway 51. In May, the first round of US 66 bike route signs were installed in Tulsa. The signs are the first step in highlighting the 400-mile route through Oklahoma for bicyclists to enjoy. Over Father's Day weekend in June, thunderstorms hit a large portion of northeastern Oklahoma, leaving behind widespread damage. More than 150 crew members from all 8 districts deployed to Tulsa and worked tirelessly to haul more than 4,000 loads of green waste for disposal. The department made big strides in its effort to improve safety along the I-35 corridor with the addition of wrong-way detection systems. 2023 saw the completion of the system along the northern I-35 corridor, and the Transportation Commission approved more than $4 million to add the system along the southern I-35 corridor between Oklahoma County and the Red River. A new roundabout opened in August at the junction of US 62 and State Highway 82 in Tahlequah. The roundabout eliminated a signalized intersection that was a source of constant backups and collisions in South Tahlequah and has been well received by the community. In October, ODOT, in partnership with the Federal Highway Administration, launched the first Safe Oklahoma Summit, welcoming more than 400 attendees who collaborated on initiatives focused on sharing best practices for improving safety, encompassing safer people, safer roads, safer vehicles, safer speeds, and post-crash care. Former Secretary of Transportation Gary Ridley was honored for his exemplary contributions to Oklahoma transportation with the dedication of the I-35 and State Highway 51 interchange in Payne County. Secretary Ridley proudly served the great state of Oklahoma for 48 years. The more than $150 million reconstruction project to upgrade US 6975 near Durant was completed in fall 2023. Included in the cost was a $62 million Fast Lane grant, one of the highest amounts of federally awarded grants in the department's history at the time. This project improves accessibility on and off the highway, streamlines key interchanges, creates one-way frontage roads, and adds a much-needed rail crossing to the 4 lanes of traffic. ODOT acquired its first autonomous vehicle dedicated to help highway maintenance efforts statewide. The unmanned vehicle can provide extra safety measures for crews working along busy highways, while also assisting in performing key maintenance tasks. ODOT districts have begun training on how to use and incorporate the new truck into their plans throughout 2024. Oklahoma became the first state in the nation to require a work zone and first responders safety course for teen drivers. Work Zone Safe is a free program that teaches new drivers how to navigate through work zones and introduces them to the faces behind the flag and flashing lights. Effective November 1st, 2023, Oklahoma teens are required to have completed the online course before receiving their intermediate driver's license. The future of Oklahoma transportation in 2024 is bright.
Pretty good year in review. You know, again, we've done so much across the state of Oklahoma in all 8 districts during 2023. And just a few highlights there to remind us of some of the significant accomplishments. I tell our people all the time, in a day-to-day operation, we sometimes get too close and we forget some of the great things and the wonderful things that we accomplish. So again, that's just a little bit of a look back. Talk a little bit about a major project that's coming up that will be a little bit disruptive to the traveling public on US 69 in Wagner County. We've got a bridge replacement project coming, and we expect that to get underway here in the next couple of weeks. And that'll include not just bridge replacement, but some resurfacing activities. Access to businesses and city streets, we'll do our best to make sure that they stay open and stay very good. And but there will be some one lane and in either direction reductions. We expect that project to be completed in spring of 2025. So a little bit of a disruption there while we do some work on 69. And certainly Highway 69 is that highway that carries a tremendous amount of traffic. It carries interstate type traffic, and it'll be problematic while we get that work done. So certainly want the traveling public to be aware of it. As a way of project update, US 287 in Cimarron County, we've had a bridge that we've been constructing half at a time on a 2-lane highway, which is a little bit challenging. It's been, to say the least, the traveling public has had to give us their patience while we've worked our way through that, and we very much appreciate that. Weather permitting, and in the Panhandle right now, that's a big qualifier because, you know, they're in blizzard conditions out there today, so I know there's not a lot of work getting done on that particular project. But weather permitting, by the end of the month, we should have all lanes of the bridge open. And then we'll go to work on some of the pavement work that needs to be done with a optimistic completion of this summer to get that project knocked out. North of Boise City, 287 is what I'd characterize as a primary route, carries a lot of traffic up into Colorado and vice versa. So a very important route, and we look forward to getting that project completed. I think we've got one more video of US 169 and Interstate 244 and the ramp that we've been working on in Tulsa. That's a bridge replacement project that started in March of 2023. This will progress you through that replacement. It's a $24 million contract of Manhattan Road and Bridge, and we got traffic moved to this new structure just a little bit before Christmas. It replaces a bridge that was fracture critical, and it had more patch than it had deck. So really something that we needed to be paying attention to. This project, again, has likewise been disruptive to the traveling public while we've worked on it, but we're really excited about getting work done. And when we're completed, it'll also include new lighting. The northbound 169 to westbound I-244 will remain narrowed to one lane. We'll have some night and weekend closures as we get through the demolition of the old bridge, and then we look forward to a completion date of early in the spring. So again, another extremely important connector in the Tulsa metropolitan area, and part of our ongoing efforts to make sure our bridge infrastructure stays in good shape. So touch just briefly on our safety campaign, and it really revolves around winter weather. Just as we're experiencing those blizzard conditions in the Panhandle today, we've got to be ready for winter weather across the state. We've hearing forecasts of the first round of what I'd really call true polar air expected in later this week, with a high on Friday of in the teens, I believe, or it's starting to roll in. And that'll continue for maybe as much as a week with some single-digit temperatures and highs in the teens and below freezing. any precipitation that we get during that time period will be frozen. So again, we ask the public to go through their safety checks, make sure your vehicle's in good operating condition, windshield wipers are in good shape, make sure you've got your wintertime safety kit in there with you that includes food and water and maybe some extra blankets, just in case. And the Department of Transportation, we will stand up in front of you without hesitation, tell you we're ready for this winter event. We talk about having 537 trucks available statewide, including some that we get from our contractor friends. And about 1,500 employees, 500 pieces of additional equipment if needed. Our salt and sand sheds are stocked and full and ready to go. But not like Minnesota. And I really want to add emphasis to that, because this is, again, a reflection of the people that work for this organization. When we have inclement weather, our workforce and our boots on the ground out there in the field districts go to work. And they do as good a job as the workforce does in Minnesota, but they're not set up to get that done. They work hard, they put forth extra effort, and they don't quit until everything is done, until the safety of the traveling public has been protected and maximized to the extent they can. And I cannot tell you how proud of that I am. And again, that's a part of the fabric of the Department of Transportation here in Oklahoma. Our folks step up every day, not just in the field districts, but all across this organization, to go above and beyond in service of the taxpayers of this state. So very much appreciate their work. Reminder to drivers, when you see those trucks that are out there spreading salt and sand, give them some space. 200-300 feet back is best, so you don't get your car involved in getting some salt and sand spread on it. So give them some space to work. Watch the winter weather reports, and our friends in the media and the meteorologists that we have in Oklahoma are exceptional, and they do tremendous work, so pay attention to them. And then again, have that safety kit. Make sure you've got maybe even an extra battery for your cell phone if you need it. And download the Drive Oklahoma app. It's such a good resource. You can pay attention to road conditions on that app right on your cell phone, and be safe out there while you're traveling. If you have to travel, your best option always in inclement weather, if you can, is just stay home. And but if you have to travel, certainly heighten your awareness. Remember, black and white speed limit signs are on a clear, bright day, so you've got to adjust your speed accordingly in inclement weather. And lastly, buckle your seatbelt, always. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, again, I appreciate everything the Commission does for the Department of Transportation, State of Oklahoma. I will stand for any questions the Commission may have of me.
Thank you, Secretary Gatz. Commissioners have questions or comments?
I have just one final one, if you'll indulge me. So
Please.
I am tremendously pleased about Highway 39. So I drive it, it's not my district, but I drive it quite a bit. 10 years ago last month, my son, I've said this before, he almost got killed on 39. And for years, I've always thought that lack of a shoulder is what contributed to that accident. And I know what it's like to get that call late at night, and I don't want other people to do it, but I'm tremendously pleased. It's really looking nice. And the safety of that corridor is going to be improved immensely. So I'm very happy with that, so thank you.
Excellent. Good. Thank you. Thank you for those comments. I'd like to hear a motion for item 16, which is adjournment.
So move.
Commissioner Shannon, thank you.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Let's have a long discussion for a little. All right, commissioners, please vote. Adjournment motion passes. Shocking.